and gives us different information about human body. Just like this example for a software, we have also different structures and we need different views to represent those structures. For example, here in a human body, we have different types of pictures, different types of, for example, X-ray scans or different types of picturing systems to show these structures. And in a software, we need these views, different types of representation of software architectures. We call these views the tools that help us to represent the software architecture. And we have different types of views. For each structure, we have a view. So for different structures, we have different views. A view is a representation of a coherent set of architectural elements. And these views are written by the designers of the system, by the architect of the system, and will be read by other stakeholders of the system. As we said before, a structure is a set of elements itself, and for different set of elements, we need different types of views to show and represent those elements and their relationships. So a view is a representation of a structure. For example, for a module structure, we can use different diagrams to show that structure. For example, we can use the hierarchical tree views for showing the hierarchical modules of the system. A module view is the representation of that structure, and we will document the structure, the module structure of the system. So after the architect design the structures of the system, he or she should document views of those structures. After deciding about the structures of the system, after designing the structures of the system, they should write down the structures. How they can write down the structures? They use views, different types of views, to write down those structures, to document those structures. So we have different types of structures and we need views to represent those structures. Okay, before going into details of our three categories of structures, I think it's enough for today's session, and the next slides will be talked in the next sessions. I think it's enough for this, the first session. I just want you to have a insight in our course. Hello, Mr. Lies.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Good
Thank you
afternoon. Welcome to the class.
for your all clarification for this class. Actually, I have a question and request. I will begin with my question. You said the first we have a two examination, the first one and the final one. What is the deadline for the first one actually, so we could know it?
Yes, the first one
Prepare.
would be after the Nowruz holidays in Farvardin or in Ordibehesht. I think it would be in March.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
And because we don't know the circumstances of the coronavirus, I don't know if we can take the exam online or we can take the exam in the university.
So
So
it's
I didn't,
understood.
yes, I
And
didn't
actually,
identify a time because I don't know what the coronavirus will be until then? What are the circumstances until then?
Actually, I don't want to interrupt anything for your plan in this class, but I I have a curiosity to know what is the point of this first examination. We used to have only final examination and exercise activities like homeworks and sometimes presentation, but what is the point of this first examination? I'm not want to interrupt this. I'm just curious about
Yes,
this.
it's okay if you want to just have a final exam and not the midterm exam, but the software architecture is a huge course. I want the exam to be easy for you, okay? And
So
because of that, I will divide the slides into two parts. The first part, you will have an exam for your midterm, and the next half in your final. But if you want to have an exam for all the slides, it's okay. But I think it will be hard for you. So I
so
want
you
it to
said
be easier.
you you said it is optional, so we can choose to be one
No, it's not
examination
optional. No, it's not
or two.
optional. Because I know it will be hard
So
for you. Because there are lots of
thank you.
slides. The book is very huge.
Understood,
It
understood,
will be hard
understood.
for you to
Actually,
read all of that for just one exam. So I will divide it half of the book in your first exam and half the other half of the slides, not all of the book, half of the slides in the first exam and the other half in the final exam. That will be more easier for you.
yeah, if you put it that way, it's actually helpful. And what about the activity of the class? Do we have homeworks?
No, not homeworks. You just need to do a research about the software architecture in different domains.
So
Yes, only
only
one
presentation.
research. If you want
That's
to
correct.
present it in online classes, it will be okay. But if, because I know there are students that are not very good at English, speaking English, just giving me the documentation of your research, a written report of your research is okay. But if there is anyone that can be volunteered
Uh,
to have a presentation in our online classes, uh, that will be have an extra point.
so